Hi guys, good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sai Kiran. Today is the continuation of the yesterday session, which is day 2. Guys, people who are watching this series for the very first time and people who are not aware of anything about Docker and people who do have the basics of Docker, I sincerely request you to watch yesterday's video and come back here because yesterday we have discussed something about process, we have discussed about daemon and what are services, like architecture and different commands. So if you do watch it and if you're not practicing and if you think that it is okay, then it is definitely not okay, guys, because in future when we are learning Kubernetes, it will become very tough for you if you are not doing the practicals now. Got it? So Docker is actually the basics of Kubernetes, right? So please do watch, do practicals, and then come back here. This is the continuation of yesterday's session. As I said before, today we are going to discuss about the first thing, which is Docker directory change, right? So how, what exactly is this directory change? I'll tell you. I told you yesterday also, but today also I'll tell you what exactly is this directory change. See, we do have root volume, right? In root volume, in real time, what will happen, we will make sure that this root volume is not exceeding more than 50%. We do have triggers at 80 70%, 70% or 80%. If the utilization is high, we will be getting an alarm, but still we will make sure that our root volume is not exceeding 50%, right? But when you install Docker, what will happen, under var library, under Docker, under slash containers, here you're going to get all the container app data, right? And this will be stored on root volume itself only. End of the day, what will happen, if you keep storing all your container data in this location, obviously the root volume will be increased, right? It will exceed more than 70%. So to avoid such instances, what we are going to do is we are going to create one EBS volume, right? We are going to create one EBS volume. Guys, this is basically a DevOps engineer task itself only. They'll be asking you to do it, either developer or someone, right? So watch carefully. We are going to create one elastic block storage, and we will make sure that this, we are formatting this, and then we are going to attach one file system, right? And then we are going to mount it to the etc fs tab. etc fs tab. Once this part is done, it's not completed. The second main thing what you have to do is, there is something called Docker directory service. There is something called Docker directory service. Here you have to do some modifications in the config file, right? Modifications in the config file. What kind of modifications is, we are going to create one directory here and we are going to mount the directory to the fs tab, correct? So this directory name you have to give in the configuration file. So from next time, what will happen, all this app data will be stored in the particular directory whatever you have given, right? So this is one task for today. And what was the second task is, we are going to discuss about network. We're not going to discuss about all the networks, guys. We do have bridge network, right? We do have bridge network. We are going to create one custom network here. Again, this is just a small heads up on network, like how the containers will be communicating with the IP address. Why not with the container names? Initially container name communication will not be there, so we are going to create a custom network and we'll achieve this task. This is point one. When it comes to the host, again we do have we are going to do something on bridge network, guys, but not now. I'm going to show you how to create the custom network, and then you can make an communication between the containers. And when it comes to the host network, when it comes to the host network is again, there is something called Prometheus monitoring tool. I'm going to talk more about the host network during the time of Prometheus, because in Prometheus we do have something called node exporter, right? Host IP is something which takes its own IP, where we are not going to do any kind of port forwarding. Instead it will take one default IP which was assigned to it. So this works more good with this Prometheus tool, because this Prometheus does have one node called node exporter. So you will be understanding more about host network when doing the practicals on Prometheus. So today, a small heads up, I'm going to give on host network, and the other one is none. Seriously, till now I never used this none network, but yes, we are going to see something on none network, right? And once this part is done, then we can wind up this session. So again, a small request to everyone who did not watch the yesterday's video and who did not do the practicals of yesterday's video, do it and come back here, because today I'm not going to explain anything about the command. Simply, for example, I'm going to run docker run hyphen hyphen rm hyphen hyphen d hyphen hyphen name and the name, and then hyphen port, and then container name. So you will not be understanding anything, so I request you to please do watch yesterday's video, and if you come back here, then you will be able to understand each and everything. Got it? So let me take you back to my console, guys. So guys, here is the console. Before coming to the session, I have already created one T2 micro instance and I have installed Docker in it. So if you don't know how to install Docker in the quickest way, please do watch yesterday's video. It's simple, a one line command. Check URL https colon double slash get.docker.com slash pipeline and then bash. Right? I have already logged into my console. If I enter docker hyphen hyphen version, so here is the version. Now if you enter df-h, what was the space consumed here? 35%, right? I'm going to run one container now and we'll see how it behaves. Docker run hyphen hyphen rm hyphen detach hyphen hyphen name app1 hyphen p 8000 is to 80 nginx latest. See, it says nginx was not there, it is downloading. Docker ps, one container is running. If I enter df-h, see here 2% has been consumed. Likewise, if you keep on creating containers, what will happen? See, the logs are also stored in var library and then docker cd var library docker containers ls-al. Here is your container. Inside your container, you're going to find all the logs and rest of the files. So if you keep on storing all your Docker images on root volume, what will happen? End of the day, the root volume will be consumed. Correct? Now we need to change the Docker directory. In order to change it, go to the volumes and create one volume and attach that volume to your EC2 instance. No, not this gateway, not this volume. I'm sorry. Volumes, create volume, select ZP2, 50 ZB is enough. US is 1A. No, snapshot was not required. Add tags, name, Docker volume, and then create volume. So once the volume has been created, select this volume actions and then attach this volume to the instance. This is the instance, right? And then select the device name, attach volume. Once the volume has been attached, come back to the instance. If you enter lsblk, see, this is the disk we have attached. Let's format this disk. fdisk slash dev and then xvdf, enter new primary W for saving. I'm not explaining this because we have already did this during the time of AWS session. So we just created a partition lsblk and here is the partition. Now I'm going to add file system for it. Make file system. I'm going to take ext4 as a file system slash dev slash xvd f1 xvd f1. Yeah, enter. It's creating the blocks. Hold on for some time. Okay, it says file system has been created successfully. Make sure that you're copying this UUID separately. Copy UUID, paste it here, come down. Let's create one directory. I'll name it as docker data. Enter nano slash etcfs stamp. Come down and then paste your UUID here and do the necessary modifications. Do it carefully. Instead of colon, you have to mention equals to double space and then the directory name. My directory name is docker data space ext4 is my file system extension. enter mount hyphen a. Okay, fs tab has been modified. Okay, it's successful, it has been modified. If I enter df hyphen h, see, this has been, the docker data has been modified. Now let's get into the docker data and do some testing here. Okay, for I in 1 to 10 files, do echo dollar date, and I'm going to write this to file hyphen dollar I. Done. Ls hyphen al. See, 10 files have been created successfully in our docker directory wherever we have given. Now I'm going to remove this. I'm just testing, don't get confused whether the files are storing there or not. Nice. So once this is done, it's not completed, right? I told you something, we need to change the service directory file also, correct? Here are the steps. I'm going to put this in our GitHub repository. Copy. We are going to stop the docker service, paste it. Okay, it stopped. And then make sure that you are running socket has been stopped. Now copy till service. Okay, you have to do some changes here. Enter, come down, copy this entire line, comment this line out, enter and paste it here. Do the changes exactly how I'm doing, guys. Docker d hyphen hyphen data hyphen root, is it correct? Hyphen hyphen data hyphen root. Okay, I'm going to give my directory name. You can also give your directory name accordingly. Docker data is my directory name, right? Control X, save it. That's it. Now come back to your VS Code again, run rest of the commands. This is a recent command. Enter. It will be syncing. Copy. Okay, done syncing. Enter. We are reloading the daemon. Now we are going to see the status. It should be up and running. Nice, it's active and running. We can see the processor running or not. Okay, here it is running as a daemon. Nice, this part has been successfully completed. If I enter df-h here, see, now it is 1%, right? I'm going to run one command now. Docker run hyphen hyphen rm hyphen detach hyphen hyphen name app1 hyphen port 8000 is to 80, and the image name, this image size is somewhere around 1.4 cb. Okay, I'll tell you what exactly this image does. Slash troubleshooting tools colon version 1. Guys, actually, if you know how to clone this, I mean push this image to your docker repository, please push it and keep it, because the reason is this troubleshooting image contains all the networking tools like netstat, ifconfig, and then like net tools, zq. All the troubleshooting tools will be there inside this image. The reason why we carry this image is, see, by default containers doesn't hold any kind of packages inside, so we will be using separate image for the troubleshooting in real time, right? Our image has been successfully downloaded. If I enter df-h, watch here carefully. Previously it is for 1%, right? Now it is 4%. If I enter docker data, let's see, all the files are writing to me. Yeah, here it is. Here is my container logs ls-al. See, it has been successfully changed the directory. Got it? Here it is. Here is the log file. Understand? Now we'll do one thing. There is something called docker network. Okay, docker network ls. See, there are three networks. Bridge network, if you remember, we have discussed this already yesterday. And host network is something, it's going to take its own IP, guys. We are going to discuss this again now. So it will be more useful during the time of Prometheus session. There is a monitoring tool Prometheus session. During the configuration of Prometheus, we do have something called node exporter. So when deploying the node exporter, it's going to take its own IP. We are not going to give any kind of hyphen p and then port forwarding. We are not going to give such things. Instead, what it will do is it will directly take the host IP, right? So we're going to learn this once after completion of bridge. And null, I mean none. I haven't worked on none, guys, seriously. But during the time of Docker volume mounts, we are going to discuss about this none, so that you can be understanding it practically, correct? And there is something called overlay network that is majorly used in Docker Swarm actually. So let's see, let's create some custom networks on bridge and see how the containers will be communicating each other with IP, and how the like containers will be communicating with the containers name, right? If I enter Docker ps, any container is there? No, everything has been deleted. Now I'm going to run two containers. Docker run hyphen hyphen rm hyphen d hyphen hyphen name app1. Remember the name, guys. App1 hyphen p 8000 is to 80. I'm going to run my troubleshooting image. It's already there, right? Okay. Now I'm going to run the same container with the different container names. App2. I'm going to run this at 8001. Enter. How many containers are running now? Docker ps. Two containers were running. One is app1, another one is app2. Now I'm going to inspect and I want these IPs. Docker inspect app1 space. I need this IP address. It's running on 172, right? Okay. Grep hyphen I and then IP address. What was the IP? 172.0.2. Nice. Watch carefully, guys. This is very important. 2. What was the IP? 0.3. Correct. Now I'm going to log into my app1 and I'm going to ping app2. For better understanding, I'll keep like this. Okay. Now I'm going to enter into my container docker exec hyphen it. This is the command to enter into your container. App1 bash. Now I have been into my container, right? This is my container 977. This is my C. This is app1. Now I'm going to ping. This is app2, right? I'm going to copy this IP address and then I'll paste it here. If I enter, it is successfully pinging. Got it? If I ping with the container name, what was my container name? App2. Why it is not working? See, it says name or service not known. The reason why it is not working is I'm going to show you something, a small explanation I'm going to give you. For example, imagine there is a building here and friend one is living, and there is another person here friend 2 is living, right? So every time when friend 1 wants to play any games or he wants to have a conversation, he will go directly to his flat and he will take the lift, and he is living somewhere at fourth floor, and the room number is 192.168, right? And after few days, what happened? This friend has changed room from fourth floor to first floor, right? And again, what happened after few days? He's frequently changing the rooms in the same building itself, only first floor, second floor, third floor, seventh floor, like that. Okay. So what is the best option for friend one? What he can do, if he wanted to go and meet every time, he cannot remember this room names, right? Room numbers, right? So instead, the best option is to remember the friend two name. Correct. The best option is to remember the friend to name. The advantage of remembering this name is whenever he goes to this building, he can simply ask the reception or he can simply ask the watchman, where does xyz person is living, in which building is, in which floor he is living. Then the security guard is going to give him a clear information. He can go directly. Correct. In such case, apply the same thing on containers, guys. Containers are stateless, right? Containers are stateless. It's not a recommended way to ping container with the help of IP name. It's not a recommended way. The best way is to ping the container with the container name. In our case, the container name is app1 and app2. In Kubernetes, these are called as labels, right? Let's forget about Kubernetes. I'm just giving you a small heads up. So labels, these containers names and labels plays a very crucial game in this entire containerization part, right? As I said before, it's not recommended to call containers with the IP addresses, because the reason why I said containers are stateless is, see, if the container has been failed for some reasons, once it is back, the IP address is going to change, right? The IP address is going to change. In such case, if you keep on pinging with the old IP address, the container will be not reachable. So you should make sure that you are pinging it with the unique name of the container. What was the unique name here? Labels, I mean container names are the unique name here. Got it? So now let's go back. If I'm pinging with the container name here, it is not working. But if I ping with the IP, it is successfully pinging. Now what we can do is, here comes, there is something called bridge network, guys, right? Custom bridge network. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create one custom network. Docker network ls. Here are the three networks I can see now. Watch carefully. I'm going to create one custom network. Docker network create. I'm going to give the network name as custom network, right? And then driver bridge. Again, if I enter docker network ls, see, this is my custom network, right? Now I'm going to run the containers again. Now watch carefully what I'm going to do. Yeah, this is the container, right? Here I'm going to give hyphen hyphen network. I'm going to give my custom network. Custom network, yeah. Now this container will be deploying in this custom network, not in bridge network. I have to change these names also. App 1 and 2 were in bridge network. Now app 3 I want. App 3 and 8001 and 8002 were running on bridge network. I want 8003 custom network, and I'm going to deploy this container. Nice. And I'm going to take one more container name, which is app 4. I'll leave it as it is in the same container, same custom network itself only. App 4 custom, and then enter. Now if I enter docker ps, see, four containers were running. App 1 and app 2 were running on bridge network, correct? App 3 and app 4 were running on custom network. Exactly, see, here is the custom network. Now docker inspect app 3 grep hyphen I IP address. Okay, I want app 4 IP address also. See, this is my app 3 IP. Now I'm going to log into app 3 and I'll ping app 4. It should be pinging docker exec hyphen it app 3 bash. Okay, it's successfully logged into my app 3. Now I'm going to ping app 4. See, it is pinging. This is from the custom network, guys. This is not from the bridge network. If I ping from the bridge network, you have already seen what kind of error we have got. See, name or service not known. This is from the bridge network. This is from the custom network. But if I wanted to ping from custom network to bridge network, yes, that option is available. So for that, what command you have to run is docker network connect. Mention your custom network name. My custom network name is this. To what container name you wanted to connect? I wanted to connect to my app 1 and my app 2. Enter. Okay, one time only one container name, I think. Enter. Error response my app 1. Oh, sorry, it's app 1, not my app 1. App 1 and then app 2. Only one time, one container. Okay, it has been successfully connected. Now our custom network has been successfully allowed bridge network container, right? How we can see it? Docker network inspect custom now. Okay, if you watch here carefully, this is a custom network. If you watch here, this is a custom network, and under the custom network, what we did before, we have created two containers, name with app 3 and then app 4. If you remember, correct? And then now recently what we did, we had make sure that we are from custom network, we have make sure that we are connecting to the app 1 container, which is located in bridge network. Right, bridge network is the default network given by the docker when we have created docker. And then after that, recently we have created custom network name with custom, and then we deployed two containers, app 3 and app 4. Now what I'm going to do is, we just connected app 1, which is in the bridge network, to the custom network. Now I'm going to log into my app 3 or app 4 container, and I'm going to ping app 1. It should be pingable, right? Now docker exec hyphen it. I'm going to log into my bash. Right, I've been successful into my custom network container. Now I'm going to ping app 1. See, it is been pinging successfully. Right, so this is how custom network works, guys. This is just small, like, task, but in future, when learning the Docker, we are going to do more practicals on this, right? So this is how it works, and we do have another call, another network call. Let me exit from the container first. Docker network ls. As I said before, host means it will share the host IP, which means when running a container, we are doing some port forwarding, right? Hyphen p and all. So when you deploy any container with the help of host, you're not going to give any kind of hyphen port. Instead, you're going to give host IP, so that it will be taking the IP by default, right? So as I said before, this will be majorly used during the time of a tool called Prometheus, where it is going to use one a node exporter for metric collection. Then it will be most useful, and you're going to see something like, practical things. But I'm going to show you with the help of this Docker Hub images. This is the Docker Hub. I enter Prometheus slash node hyphen export. Yeah, this is the one. I'm just going to run one command just to show you. Hold on. Docker ps. I'm going to stop all the containers. Docker stop dollar. Docker ps hyphen aq. Okay, all the containers have been stopped and deleted. Nice. Now I'm going to run rm d name node exporter. Node exporter network. Now I'm going to give host network. Prometheus slash node exporter. Unable to find the image. It's going to download now. And if I'll copy my public IP address, copy it, colon 9100. If you watch here carefully, these are the metrics. See, this is how it looks like. So we are going to discuss more during the time of Prometheus. Don't worry, guys. I just wanted to show you everything practically. That's it. If you watch here, we haven't given this. See, if you watch here, we didn't given this 9100. From where this 9100 came? Docker image inspect Prometheus slash node export latest. Enter. If you scroll up, you are going to see the see here exposed ports. By default, the exposed port is this. Got it? So this is what about Docker host. As I said before, I haven't worked on none seriously. So we are going to discuss during the time of volume mounts and bind mounts, right? That's all for today, guys. I request you to please do the practicals. If you're not doing the practicals, and if you ignoring people who already do have the Docker knowledge, it's fantastic. But who are watching for the very first time, please don't worry about the bill. Bill is nothing. Bill, if you use T2 micro, you're not going to get the bill more than 600 or 700 also per month, right? Do the work and stop the instance and stop whatever you have created, so that you will not be getting high bills. So don't worry about the bill. If you are not doing the practicals, and if you are ignoring, trust me, in Kubernetes you will struggle a lot. You will not be understanding anything. Just now I said something about the container names, right? In Kubernetes we call it as labels. Here we have used exec command. There also we will be using exec command only to get into the container. So I request you to do the practicals. Don't just ignore it. Thank you so much, everyone. If you do have any doubts, please put it in the comment section. We'll see you in the tomorrow session. Bye bye. Have a nice day.